Oh, great. Yet another English teacher sharing their wisdom with YouTube. That's exactly what the world needs right now, isn't it? That was sarcasm. And if you didn't quite catch it, don't worry. That's what we're here to talk about today. Hello, I'm Jo, and welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met before, I work with adults who speak English as a second plus language. And in my conversation classes, we focus on real life English and the kind of language that you use in everyday conversations. And today's topic is one that confuses quite a lot of learners. In fact, it sometimes confuses native speakers too. Sarcasm. Sarcasm is playful, it's tricky, it's very British, and it's often completely misunderstood. So today we're going to break it down. We're going to look at what sarcasm actually is, why it's so common in British English, how to recognise it. We'll look at some common sarcastic phrases, and then at the end there'll be a little quiz where you can test yourself to see if you can identify the sarcasm. So what is sarcasm? Well, sarcasm is when somebody says the opposite of what they actually mean. It's usually to be funny or to tease or to show frustration. But here's the catch. Sarcasm relies on tone, expression, and context. The words alone don't tell you what's really being said. Does that sound confusing? So let's think of an example. You drop your coffee and you say, "Oh, brilliant, that's just what I needed." You don't mean it's brilliant. You mean the opposite. That's not exactly what you needed today. In fact, it's the last thing you needed today. So the sarcasm is this mismatch. It's a mismatch between the words we're saying and the situation. We're saying the opposite of what we actually mean. So what's the opposite of sarcasm? Well, I would say it's sincerity, which is where you're saying what you really mean. Using literal language, where you're stating facts and there's no hidden meaning. Or earnestness, where there's honest, heartfelt communication. Let's look at the difference between sarcasm and sincerity. Okay, so imagine I walked into my daughter's bedroom and it looked like a bomb had hit it, which is an idiom which means it looks like a disaster zone. I could say something like, "Wow, it looks like a show home in here." Or I could say, "It's a bit of a mess. Would you mind tidying it up?" The first one was sarcasm. It doesn't look like a show home. It looks like a bomb site. The second one was me being sincere. There's a quote from the writer Oscar Wilde, which says, "Sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, but the highest form of intelligence." But you know what? I don't know if he was being sarcastic when he said that. But sarcasm isn't necessarily about rudeness. It's more of this kind of social dance. But it doesn't always land well, and you have to be careful how you use it. So is using sarcasm really necessary? In short, no, it's not. You can have perfectly good conversations in English without using sarcasm. In fact, thinking about my conversation classes with students, I rarely use sarcasm. However, it is really useful to be able to identify when sarcasm is being used. Native speakers, or some native speakers, can use it a lot. And if you can detect it, it's a bit less confusing. So why do people use it? Well, despite what Oscar Wilde said about it being the lowest form of wit, some people use sarcasm to be funny. And sarcasm is a key part of British humour. It's dry, it's subtle, and it's often self-deprecating, which means where we're putting ourselves down. Somebody might say something like, "Oh, fantastic, more traffic. I was worried that I might actually get home on time this evening." Now, it's questionable whether that's actually funny, but people using it with the purpose of being funny. Another way that some people might use sarcasm is to express frustration or annoyance. Like the example earlier when I was talking about going into my daughter's room and it being really messy. Perhaps you've been waiting for a reply from a text for somebody for a few days, and you might respond, "Oh, thanks for replying so promptly." Now, people actually do this. I really recommend that you don't do this in any professional sort of situation. And you only use it with people that you know very well and you're very familiar with. When used like that, it's actually a form of passive aggression. It's a way that somebody kind of hints at their annoyance without being direct, especially if they're avoiding confrontation. I personally avoid using it in this kind of context completely, because I prefer direct communication and I prefer people to communicate directly with me. And I really don't like passive aggression. Another way it's used is to tease gently. Friends or family might make sarcastic comments just to joke around. It's kind of like a form of affection if it's mutual and understood, like with my daughter or with a close friend. Maybe if my friend was late, I could say something like, "Oh, look, oh, great, look who's finally turned up. Only 10 minutes late." Another way that people use sarcasm, which I find a little bit toxic, is to sound clever or superior. Used badly, sarcasm can sound really condescending or arrogant, especially if it's at somebody else's expense. Maybe somebody states the obvious in a meeting and somebody else responds, "Wow, that's a genius idea." That's sarcasm, and like I said, that's a bit toxic. So sarcasm can be playful or passive aggressive or a bit protective. It all depends how it's said, who's saying it, and what the intention of the speaker is. Do you want some tips on how to recognize sarcasm? Look out for these clues. Firstly, tone of voice. Flat, exaggerated, or deadpan. "Oh, wow, your bedroom looks like a showroom." Then look for facial expressions, particularly eye rolls, raised eyebrows, smirks. I can't do a smirk. Another clue is mismatch, when what the person's saying doesn't really suit the situation at all. Finally, familiarity. If it's a situation where two people are very familiar, you might find them more likely to use sarcasm. And like I said, in British English, sarcasm is sort of a part of our humour. So moving on, let's look at some common British English sarcastic phrases. Okay, I used this one already, but oh, brilliant. That's just what I needed. Translation, that is the last thing I needed. Another one, very short and sweet. Oh, lovely. This can be used when something isn't lovely at all. Like when it's just started raining as you're leaving the house. Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. I'm going to turn up at work looking like a drowned rat. Next one is, thanks for your help. And this is used when somebody didn't help you at all. And it's a way to express kind of irritation and the fact that you notice that they didn't help at all. Another one, nice one, Sherlock. Now, you'll probably be familiar with Sherlock Holmes, the great detective. So we might use this one when somebody points out something that you already know, when somebody states the obvious. Or we might use it with ourselves as well. If I make a mistake, I might say something like, "Oh, what a genius." I'm not actually calling myself a genius. I'm being sarcastic and saying that I'm the opposite of a genius. I'm a complete idiot. Another one that comes up quite a lot is when people say, "What a surprise," when something entirely predictable happens. "Oh, what a surprise. It's raining again." Okay, so let's move on and see if you can spot sarcasm in action. I've got a little quiz for you. I'll say a sentence and you have to guess, is it sarcastic or sincere? Try and pick up on those clues that I mentioned, like facial expression and tone. "Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was incredibly helpful." Sarcastic or sincere? That was sarcastic, and you can pick that up from the flat tone of voice and the facial expressions. Okay, moving on. Number 2. Thanks for carrying those bags. I really appreciate it. Is that sincere or sarcastic? It's sincere. It sounds like genuine gratitude. Example 3. Well done, genius. Sincere or sarcastic? That was sarcastic. And you could tell again by the expression, the sigh, and the tone of voice. Next example number 4. That was a really great presentation. Really clear and well structured. Sincere or sarcastic? Sincere. No exaggeration, no flat voice, just a compliment, a genuine compliment. Okay, and finally, oh, fantastic, more paperwork, just what I needed today. Sincere or sarcastic? Sarcastic. The words say one thing, but the tone says the complete opposite. How many did you get right? A quick word of caution. There are lots and lots of situations in which I advise to completely avoid sarcasm. It's risky in formal situations, in emails and text messages. Definitely avoid it altogether in any sort of job interview. In first-time interactions where you don't know somebody very well and they don't know that you're being sarcastic. So the purpose of this video really isn't to show you how to use it. It's more on to show you how to identify it. And like I said earlier, if in doubt, just avoid using it yourself. So what about your culture? Do people use sarcasm? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how it works where you come from. So was that helpful? Or are you rolling your eyes at home thinking, oh, Jo, that was so useful. Did you see what I did there? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more weekly videos. And if you'd like to book a one-to-one conversation class with me, then have a look in the description below and you'll find a link to my website and my contact details, and you can get in touch and come and have a chat with me. Thank you again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.